Hi, Thor. Good morning, friends. Today's vlog is going to be a full day of writing, partially in my 100K Q4 project, of which I'm about a third of the way through it, maybe just over a third of the way through the challenge, word count wise. Time wise, we're definitely a third of the way through. And also, I'm going to be trying to finish the last of A Closet Full of Cauldrons. I'm on the tail end of that, so we're gonna work on that today too. And along the way, I figured I would answer a few of y'all's questions. This is, once again, some of the questions that y'all submitted ages ago on a questionnaire about, you know, the questions you most wish you could ask your fellow writers. And so I would love for you guys to answer any or all of these questions in the comments down below. And we are going to start with a bit of a doozy, in part because, though I might sound like it, I'm not actually fully awake yet. It is like 6:30 in the morning. Oh, I take it all back, it's almost 7. I've been up since 4:30. I don't even know what I'm doing. I'm gonna be totally honest. This is also so that I can distract myself from the world. So that's the goal for today. If I could think about only these two projects and only these questions, I will have succeeded. So the question is, would you consider having a second or third project on the go at the same time as your main project as a useful way to keep motivated and keep the ideas flowing? Or is it counterintuitive to productivity and a time sink to your main goal? Since I'm going to be trying to work on two projects at the same time, I figured this was like, there was no better question to start with. You will actually find a bunch of videos on my channel where I had talked about this before, about how to best multitask multiple projects at once. And I, over the past couple years with some increased sort of health struggles, have just not been able to do that effectively. So I've really had to focus in on kind of one project. I'll do like little bits and pieces of projects here and there, maybe outlining for an afternoon, or I'll do like some handwriting in the morning or something. But for the most part, it's really had to be focus on one project. But this dum-dum decided to come up with a challenge that had a specific start date, and try as I might to finish A Closet Full of Cauldrons before that start date, it just did not work. So now I found myself in a bit of a pickle, and it's one of those things where it's all like, I always have the best of intentions before this happens, but like I started therapy, I started a new medication, the state of the world, like all of it just really fucked with my best laid plans, as the world is wont to do. But I am now in a place where I need to pull double duty in order to get A Closet Full of Cauldrons just freaking done so I can send it to beta readers. So to answer the actual question, I feel like it really depends. Are you in a place in your life where you can do multiple projects? Because if that's what you find creatively fulfilling, then I think that is phenomenal. I think if I was in that place still, I do find it most creatively fulfilling to work on two projects at once. I prefer like an afternoon project and a morning project, and all the advice I used to give was have your morning project be the most important one. Conversely, if you're maybe more of a night owl, save the night project to be the most important one, whichever one you think your kind of like best brain can be working on is. Maybe you use the like slightly less important, maybe slightly farther along in the drafting or revision process as like your warm-up. You know, there's a couple different ways you could approach it based on your best abilities. Having said that, while we're experimenting today, I am going to completely ignore that advice. We're gonna see if this is to my detriment, but because I have my stream today, I do want to work on Under the Influence first. It has been my streaming project, and I think perhaps more important is to keep that sort of steady routine. Yes. Ooh, and speaking of routine, my tea should be done now. Very cozy. Someone asked, what are your best tips for establishing a regular writing routine? And it can be hard to give advice on this because everyone's routine does look so different. But I would start by taking stock of the things that you have to do. So if that's school, draw that out. If it then takes you 40 minutes to get home from school, draw that out too. And then if you need some decompressed time to eat and relax, I would add that in. So how much time do you really have? That's where your writing routine could fit in. I also think it's important to have an anchor thing. So for me, it's my tea and journaling. I'm actually switching it up. This is a new journal. I bought it as like a set at Costco. It's not lined and it's not dotted, so it's like a very basic one, but I really just wanted some of the pens. But I am using it to scream into the void, which feels apt for today, just because my handwriting's so bad already, that not having any lines just kind of results in it being sort of more all over the place, which is, I think maybe I've been needing it. Yeah. So normally my mornings consist of the tea, the journaling, and then a stream. Those are the things I more or less definitely know that I'm going to be doing in the morning. I'm actually trying to switch it up a little bit because I, once again, cannot have coffee in the morning with this new medication I'm on. It's just making me too jittery to take both the medicine and the coffee. So just switching it up a little bit. Tiny, tiny little changes. But as for the rest of the day, nothing else is really a routine. I really let after the stream be kind of loosey-goosey, but I do think that the stream is a big part of the routine and that it's like an accountability thing. There are other people who are going to be like at the stream, in the chat, and it helps me make sure that I am showing up each day, even the days that I might not feel like it. So maybe you could try and incorporate some like accountability into your routine as well, even if it's just like checking in with a friend before you sit down for your writing session or something. It's less about how much you actually get done as it is just butt in chair sort of thing. And I will say that even though I love my routine, even though it helps me feel more creative, I think, where I'm like, I'm sitting down and this is the time, and even though it's something I look forward to, if I take a bit of a break from it, if I'm traveling or anything like that, it still is hard to get back into. So I would just be a little bit kind to yourself in the first few days of trying to start the writing routine. Alright, well, after doom scrolling for a bit, not on my routine, I am going to go ahead and pivot. I wrote down this idea in my to be written list. It was just like the inkling of an idea, and I've done something different where I'm just like tweaking it and playing around with language a little bit, trying to make sure I have all the senses in the like opening 2 paragraphs. Literally that's it. I'm up earlier than usual, and we're taking my partner's car in, so I have some time to kill. I figured I would try. Morning.
Morning. I'm gonna head over there.
Okay.
I love you.
I love you. What time do you want me to... It doesn't take that long, right? Okay. Well, I added a whole 1 word since last time, which was up 19 words since the first time. I'm gonna take my tea with me. I'm gonna be honest. The I voted sticker does feel like it's taunting me right now. If you could not tell by the everything, it is the day after the election. And I'm debating like if this is even worth doing. But on the other hand, like, we do have to write through this. I don't know. I can always just edit everything away. Just pretend this didn't happen. I never have to post this video. It's fine. I think I see my partner. We're reversing. We're going to find him. It's totally cold now. Yeah, I was talking to my partner about this on the way back from the car dealership. The animals are leaving. I don't know. Isn't that terrible? It is so terrible to feel that way. I just don't know. I don't know. This is a good distraction for me, but I don't know if it's something that'll ever be shown. I don't know if anyone wants to watch something like this, because it's not like with the usual enthusiasm, but I don't know when that usual enthusiasm is gonna come back, honestly, because at least today I can keep myself distracted, but as reality sets in, I just don't know. I feel like it's gonna feel so much worse. I think I'm gonna pack a little bit today, because I have a writing retreat to go to in like a few days, and it's gonna be nice to be with other writers, but it's just like, I don't know. I will say having little animals to pet does make it a little bit better. It's interesting because we as writers want to write through all circumstances, because I feel like we also are writing to make sense of things, which is why today for Under the Influence I'm going to be writing several of the murders. that is what I have for today. You know, that's the energy I think I have time for today, is to write the murders of these terrible people. I'm hoping it'll be cathartic in some way. That does mean I'm going to be skipping around for the first time. Since I've started the 100k Q4 challenge, I've not really skipped around. But we're doing what we can, you know? I do think you guys know. Alright. You can see. It's just about time to get started. Okay, I had to type the idea before I forgot it. I did have a question for you guys. I'm curious what literary success looks like to you guys. I was thinking it over, and I kind of think for me, it is other people reading my stories and people wanting to and being excited for the next one. I think that's what literary success looks like for me. A loyal readership that gets excited about my writing when you form a sort of community. I love that. Actually finishing a draft, publishing it would be a bonus. Seeing my books on the shelf and me being satisfied about the work I put out. Be nice to make money too, of course. To me, it'd be finding someone who would love to gush about my stories to their friends the way I do about books I love. I love that. Okay, so it was so fun getting everyone's responses to the question about what does literary success look like to you. It was interesting seeing so many people it's being able to afford to live off of their writing. I think that's not just a romanticized idea of being a writer is getting to do it full time, but also that would provide so many of us with more time to write. So many people are trying to fit the writing in around all of these other things, especially work, that then getting to do it full time means you know, you're not having to squeeze it in little pockets anymore. It was also funny to see the like randomly specific ones, like seeing one of your books, someone reading it on public transport. Very cool. I did accomplish one of the deaths. I will say I'm very glad that I did the stream because it was so much better to be with everyone during this. We're all feeling very similar. We're all going through some of the same struggles right now, so yeah, it ended up being really nice to be together. I can see the chat going crazy. Spotted. Also, look at Thor. He's so much more relaxed now. Being able to like actually lay and just chill, it's incredible. One of the next questions asked, what do you do when you're not interested in your book anymore? This is a phenomenon that I think is harder to talk about. Also, sorry for the noise in the background, man. Bad timing. This is a tough one. I think it's really natural to fall out of interest with a particular book or a particular idea. It's also common to fall out of interest because we're so stumped about what to do with a particular idea. So everyone I know has started and stopped so many different stories. It's just like not that fun to talk about the ones you've stopped. It's harder to talk about the ones you've stopped working on. As for what to do, I think it's just start the next idea. If you were able to pinpoint maybe where your interest fell, that could potentially be helpful for the next story that you work on. But there's been a lot of things I've tried in my life, not just writing related, but like other hobbies that I've been obsessed with and then fallen out of. I think it's a very normal thing. I might also suggest maybe mining the idea for stuff that you still really liked about it, even if the overall story is not something that you liked. This is actually inspiring me because I did have this issue. I have kept this up here for Project Death for so long. These are the beats for it. And this is just not a story that I'm going to be coming back to anytime soon, in part because the interest has gone like this, but also because I think I need to completely restructure it. I realized a character that's at the beginning doesn't need to be there at all. Ooh, this is satisfying actually. I think part of the reason my interest fell for this story is I just kept trying to fit stuff in and it was giving me so many issues, and I was trying to work on it during a time where it was just so tough. So then I put all of this emotion onto the story that didn't belong there. Look. Now it is ready for the next book I want to outline. I do think that I will come back to an essence of the story eventually, but what it had morphed into and how it had changed was just not something that was interesting me, the path that I had taken it. So it is time to free myself of this version. Can I rip these? It's quite thick. Oh. I needed to rip something today. Let me see if I can do it again. Oh, there we go. Yeah. Cathartic. Ooh, you know what? Write another book is actually the answer to this next question too, which asks, what's next? You write a novel, then what? I think it really is that you write the next one. If you're asking like more exactly in the process, like what comes next, that's the either rewrite or revision or taking a little bit of a break and then re-outlining maybe. But I am a big fan of just getting started on your next story, and I think that is the answer for what to do next for a lot of the different phases of writing. It's what to do after querying, write another book. What to do after having my book published, write another one. Yeah. Okay, stream is done. Let's get out of here. And let us go take a bit of an eye break. Whee! My sausage.
that, I do. I do want to see what your fellow players have in mind. Look at that.
I don't think you can help me crochet then. Please ignore the hair that I've now laid down on. Why is it giving colonial? What is happening? Okay. This is how I managed to get even like a little bit of wave to my hair, but I have to sleep on it. So I just keep my hair in braids all day, and this is slowly but surely what happens. Colonial. Someone asked, when writing is a hobby, even if you self-publish, how do you deal with the feeling of I should be writing? I figured this was the perfect time to get to crocheting. I'm attempting to make this penguin for my brother since I'm going to be seeing him soon. He loved penguins growing up, and so yes, I'm gonna make this for him with this like very soft, whoop, one fell. With this very soft velvet yarn. I wish I could like send it to you through the screen so you could feel it, but it is incredibly soft. I'm going to liken this to crochet a little bit, which I think is fully in the hobby camp for me, but I do get this sensation sometimes that I should be crocheting. It's often when I've set a personal goal or a deadline, like getting this thing for my brother. Rarely do I feel that sort of pull otherwise. I think it can be hard too. Like goals can be great things, very motivating things. They're so often very fun. For writing, that can be getting something done to share with someone, to send to beta readers, or even feeling like you should have made more progress by now. It can also be hard because we naturally want to surround ourselves with our hobby. I love watching crochet YouTubers. I don't know if they have a name. It's like the craft YouTube side. I don't know what that's called. But it does work to compound the situation sometimes where I'm like, oh, I'm watching these crocheters. I should be crocheting too. I think maybe the advice is checking in with yourself and making sure that you're still having fun as you're doing it and that it's not adding to any stress that you have. If it's just a hobby, it should be something that you're doing, I personally believe, first and foremost for fun. And if not fun, then like for fulfillment in some way. And you just have to balance those stress and fulfillment kind of thing. And if it's teetering too far over, maybe reevaluate, take a step back. Yeah. This does bring me to my next question though, which is how do you get your butt into the chair? Which is something that I need to do. So let's go. Someone has stolen exactly where I was gonna put my butt though. Exactly where I was gonna put my butt. Did you steal my spot? Or did I steal your spot and you're just returning the favor? Hi, sweet girl. I got a sweet girl and a sweet boy in here. No. Hi, baby girl. Oh, I know. We're full of love. There you go. That's a good girl. I think butt and chair also goes back to that line between should and want. Like, I'm going to get my butt in the chair because I should do it if I want to get a closet full of cauldrons done and sent off to beta readers. And I do desperately want that. It can be good when it lights a fire under you, but if that want, if that should stumps you and makes you feel poorly about yourself instead, if you don't have the time or the mental or physical energy to do it, but the voice remains, that can be really paralyzing. It can be hard to get your butt into the chair. I think the thing that helps me most is kind of the same hack I have to use for when I'm trying to get into a workout routine again, which is just promising myself that I only have to do something for 5 minutes. I only have to sit in my chair and write for 5 minutes. Actually, I don't even have to write. I just have to look at my document for 5 minutes. I just have to type a little bit of brainstorming notes for 5 minutes or whatever. And once my butt is in the chair and once I'm thinking about my story and once I'm brainstorming, I think it's a lot easier to get into the flow of writing. So that's my hack, just 5 minutes. Just 5. That's the only thing you have to promise yourself. And honestly, if it's not working, like it might not work tonight, I tried. You know, you tried. Let me show you what I have left to work on. I had like a fun little aha for an extra bit of dialogue that I wanted to add to this scene. This is an entirely new scene in the story. We're gonna scroll down. I'm actually, whoop, right here. Okay, so I am very near the end. I kept these are all the old chapters. I kept these just so it would be easier, but I really only have, do you see this? 1, 2, 3, and I'm already part of the way through this one. So like I'm so close. Oof, the glare. I will still be going back and rereading it and filling in a couple things and smoothing out stuff to make sure that the parts that I did add are good, but like I'm so close. I'm so close. I'm thinking what I might do tonight rather than continuing at the end is go back to the bits of dialogue I added and smooth that out and include them. It's so funny because it's a new scene and I was feeling pretty good about it, but having this new bit of dialogue, I think it's gonna make me feel even better. It's a part of the relationship that my brother, when he read the story, gave me feedback on where he didn't feel like the friendship between my main character and one of the side characters had been fully earned yet. Like we didn't really see it on the page. We're just kind of told in some ways that it's like, they seem to feel more strongly than they seemingly have any right to. And I was like, that's totally valid. That's the hard part with a time crunch of a week of story that we see on page and new characters. But I want to try and sell it. And I think it's better with this new chapter. I just want to add this little bit of dialogue that I think is really gonna help. It's just like enriching, I think, of the world, but also these characters. So I have the hard part done, realistically, was coming up with that. Now I just have to include it. Look at how cute and good she's being and not chasing after my yarn or my tiny little start of a penguin. Okay, I was interrupted with a call from my brother to talk about logistics, but we're back at it. So you know what? My butt is still in this chair. Okay, I've added 175 words, moved some stuff around. It is mostly flowing. I just have a few more little transition sentences, but I'm kind of thinking of leaving that for later. I'm happy with how it's going. I really actually like this scene, this new scene. It goes back to, I don't know how I didn't have it before, so I'm hoping that when I go to reread it as a whole, this will also flow completely, because the scene by itself in like a vacuum is quite fun. It is right after the first death, which is crazy, but I am worried with inputting new scenes how it might disrupt the pacing of the overall story. So we're gonna see. Okay. Let's answer another question. Actually, I decided we're gonna do a bit of a speed round because I think this is going to be the end of the vlog. You know, oh my god, it's like a harken back to this morning when I just had no words, simply. Doing this has been a great distraction, but I'm also like just about ready to cry, you know? This is the if you don't laugh, you're gonna cry. I think I'm just going to continue the numbing sensation and go watch more Dropout, just to restore my faith in humanity a little bit. But chatting with y'all, that has helped. I mean, the stream genuinely helped so much today. So let's see if I can't feel a bit of a high again. Someone asked, what has been the most valuable resource in your writing life? Peers, class, what was the biggest light bulb moment for you? I think the biggest resource is beta readers. I think it's a writing community, and I understand that that is much easier said than done. I can understand that finding a community can be so tough. I started AuthorTube in search of a community, and that was why I originally started posting videos, and it's so funny to see how much that has helped me. Is it 8 years? Many years later. Okay. My god, what is time? What is time? But yes, not only having beta readers, but also getting to beta read for people is an incredibly valuable resource. Getting to see work that's not yet at that published state is incredible. To that same end, maybe reading more fan fiction has helped, because you get to immerse yourself in the story, but you're also reading words that one person did by themselves. And often you can see like glimmering gold parts, and you see the poorly written parts, and you can kind of analyze that in a different way. What has helped you improve most as a writer, aside from reading a lot and writing a lot? I really do feel like it's those two things. What do I think has helped me the most? I made a whole video about this. I don't even know. Maybe it's because I'm staring at my yarn. I think having another hobby has helped my writing the most. Getting to see the creative process with another thing has helped me see the same mentality I carry over, and with that being a hobby, seeing how much kinder I am to myself and how much more realistic sometimes I am, has helped to shift that over into my writing life as well, which kind of answers what is one piece of writing advice you would give your past self. It's always to be kinder to myself. It's to not feel like I need to have a certain thing accomplished by a certain age. I wish I could tell 15-year-old me that, who had so many diary entries about how she was going to be a published author at 20 and all this stuff, and so much more focused on the having done something great by a certain time versus just enjoying the process of getting to share her stories. Yes. What do you do when your idea doesn't feel right yet? I let it cook. It needs to cook. I have a story. It's my religious throuple story, which I adore. I did 10,000 word outline on or whatever, something crazy. And then as I was beginning to draft it, I realized that it needs literally just one more thing. One more thing. I think it needs just one more little selling point. One more little twisty twist I can put that would make it, like, it's so close in my head to being a like unput downable must pick up book, but it needs that one little sprinkle of something, and I'm just percolating on it. So I'm letting it wait, doing other projects, and I feel like that's truly the only answer. But if anyone else has something to get this noggin moving, I would love to hear it. And I now only have 2 minutes and 41 seconds left of recording space on my camera. So I do feel that this is farewell. I think I'm gonna post this, but also I cannot say thank you enough to future you for having watched this far, but also for helping me do something today. Because I don't think I would have otherwise. It's a hard day. It's gonna be a hard week, but today was a little bit better because of the stream and because of y'all. So thank you. Please do answer any and all of these questions. I would love to hear your response, and I will see you all very soon with a new video. Bye.